Good morning and welcome to Start Your Day with Dr. A. A 5-minute inspirational to get your day off to an amazing start. Today we're going to look at letter D, which is destined for success. Did you know that God promises that in the scripture? Deuteronomy 8, and I'm just going to read verse 18. We'll refer to some other ones, but let's just read verse 18. Remember the Lord your God. He is the one who gives you power to be successful. In order to fulfill the covenant he confirmed to your ancestors. That phrase again, meaning God. God is the one who gives you power to be successful. Would you say it with me out loud? I am destined for success. J. Hyle says this: success is on the same road as failure. Success is just a little further down the road. You know, the book of Deuteronomy takes place at a very pivotal point in Israel's history. They had come through the 40 years of wandering now. Those 40 years are over. We have a whole new generation, and they have literally been brought to a place. Geographically, it's called Kadesh Barnea. Here's why that's important. It was right at the brink of the promised land. They could see it. My wife and I had the privilege of going to Israel and actually standing at the place where Moses would have looked over and they would have looked over and saw the promises. But their time had come. They were there. But before they went in, Moses stops them and reminds them, and you'll see from verses 15 through 17, remind them they had been through some tough times. They had been through some hot and dry times. God had given them miracle after miracle. He stopped them, reminded them who they were, what they had been through, but he also reminds them this, and by extension, from the very beginning, their destination was always success. God had brought them out to bring them in. A mapping software designer once said that all mapping software works the same way. He says this: you entered the beginning place, the starting point, say New York City, and then you entered the destination, say like Los Angeles. Did you know, here's what he says, that the software actually starts at the end point, starts at the destination, and then draws the route backward to the beginning point. The software designer was then asked, with what the software can do and the millions of calculations that the computer can do per second nowadays, why doesn't it just do it and just give us a solution? He said this: well, it's kind of cool the way it works. Because if the mapping program tried to start at what you entered at the beginning point, it would actually continually get lost along the way and streets and that would lead to dead ends. Then have to start all over again until it found another dead end, and the process would again start. So what it does is it actually starts at the destination and works backwards. The destination is really the true beginning point. You have to know where you start as you're moving out, you are destined for success. That way, when you hit all of the roadblocks and even what Moses reminded them of, all the desert they had went through. Listen, you and I, we've been destined for success. You got to know that in your spirit. We were created for good things, but we went through some terrible things in our lives. All of us have. And we'll doubtless have more. We've had times of struggle, either financially, emotionally. We lost jobs, lost loved ones. We went through deserts. We went through tough times, but God came through. That's why we're talking today. Often in supernatural ways. Sometimes Israel had their manna. They had their water from a rock. But we too have our testimonies of the provision of God, and it was all for good because God was leading us to our destination, which I want to remind you of. You have to know at the beginning, your destination is success. So if you've hit a roadblock, that means it's not over. Look, we got a lot more to cover in this. We're going to close today by you and I, first of all, being thankful of what we've been brought through and thankful for where God's taken us and knowing without a shadow of doubt, we are destined for success. So can you say that with me out loud? Yeah, I've been through stuff, but can you say this? I am destined for success. I'll see you next time on Start Your Day with Dr. A.